Live from the WDIO broadcast studios, this is Eyewitness News at 10 on WDIO WIRT.
Welcome back. Growing up can be tough no matter who you are, but what if you notice that you're not growing the same as everyone else? Our Brittany Falkers tonight looks into a not-so-talked-about syndrome affecting more people than you might think. Here's our special report, Facing Turners, Finding Strength.
Katie Taylor is your average high school freshman.
It's been pretty fun. I mean, there's a lot more opportunities than middle school.
She's busy with cheerleading, theater, and, well, just being a teen. But when she was 9, Katie's doctors realized that she wasn't growing as fast as the other girls her age. Then, at 11, she was diagnosed with something she'd never heard of, Turner syndrome. After the immediate shock, Katie's mom, Annie, says they started researching.
I know for me it was just finding out what it was, and the more I found out, the more I was relieved with it.
Turner syndrome, or TS as it's known, happens in females, 1 out of every 2,500 births.
It's kind of rare, but kind of not.
It's a random genetic abnormality in which girls are missing part or all of one of their X chromosomes.
Missing information on that chromosome ends up causing some of the problems that girls with Turner syndrome are afflicted by.
Dr. Brad Miller says the symptoms are unique for each girl. He is one of the rare pediatric endocrinologists treating girls with TS in the Northland. He says the symptoms really vary, both mentally and in growth.
You can sometimes recognize Turner syndrome physically by changes in the bones.
The most common physical trait of TS is being short, because one of the missing genes is one that tells puberty to kick in and is supposed to tell the body to grow. So like most girls with TS, Katie had to make a decision. To help kickstart growth, did she want to begin the long, painful process of daily growth hormone injections?
Explaining, the pros and cons of the shots, and for Katie, her fear is shots.
Dr. Miller says treatment is more effective the earlier a child is diagnosed.
The later that you find out somebody has Turner syndrome, the less that you can do from a growth perspective. So there have been studies in girls with Turner syndrome that have shown treating toddlers to prevent that failure actually kind of keeps them on the curve from the beginning.
For Katie and her mom, the decision was not easy, but they decided to skip the injections, even though she's not likely to ever grow past 4'8".
She's happy with not having them and understanding that it might have given her an extra inch and a half.
Pull your foot back.
It was a different path for the family of 19-year-old Becca Nygaard.
So about age 5, I started on the growth hormone and was on that continuously for 10 years.
It's a little more than normal, yeah.
Becca's parents knew she was a Turner's girl before she was even born and started growth hormones early.
They started me on a hormone replacement regimen to jumpstart puberty.
Although she struggles with joint issues, she says it's added inches to her height she wouldn't otherwise have had. Being short might be the most common trait, but there are a lot of other symptoms unique to each Turner's girl.
A lot of the girls have heart problems, hearing problems, and things like that.
Some physical symptoms can be more obvious, such as a webbed neck or scoliosis, but others have more serious internal complications that can lead to problems later in life. Knowing the signs is important.
Trying to identify it and make sure that people are getting what they need is the reason we want to bring it up and make people aware.
It's been a long journey, but both Katie and Becca agree TS is only a part of them. It does not define them.
Most Turner's girls try not to let it control their lives. There's doctors who have Turner syndrome. There's even actresses and judges that have Turner's, and they've become very successful.
A message that both girls are trying to spread to others with Turner syndrome. The message that they're not alone and there's always support. Brittany Falkers, Eyewitness News.
And tomorrow night we look at the social struggles of Turner syndrome and how these two girls are coming together to ignite a community of support. Next. Welcome back. Last night we introduced you to a unique medical condition, Turner syndrome. Tonight, we look at why some women and girls with TS are afraid to speak out and why finding support is so important. Here's Brittany Falkers with the conclusion of Facing Turners, Finding Strength.
Push it down.
Well, I have a lot of joint problems. I have cubitus valgus in my elbows, and they're unable to straight all the way.
TS affects me physically for my shortness. And then I have this finger thing where the Turner syndrome makes this finger shorter.
Turner syndrome, or TS, is the unwanted bond they share, a random genetic abnormality that affects only women. But these two are not letting it stand in their way.
I just wanted to let all the other Turner syndrome knows that watch this news that it doesn't have to affect your daily life and you can be like a normal person.
19-year-old Becca Nygaard and 14-year-old Katie Taylor carry that message of hope and promise to others once a month at the Superior Public Library, a support group for those with TS, their friends, and family.
Like for the younger ones, mostly the bullying in school. So for her, it's a big thing to just say, I have Turner syndrome.
Katie and Becca help others and share their stories of coping and living. In a family with 8 siblings, it can be hard to stand out, but Katie does it with ease. Active in just about everything she can get into. You can find her honing her skills at drama practice. Go! Or cheerleading for her high school's team.
Well, my favorite activity from cheerleading is probably flying, where they throw you up in the air.
Causing Mom Annie's heart to skip a beat every time.
Well, let's see. Every time before the thing, I talk to Coach. Don't let him drop her. Don't let him drop her. And then, oh, okay, she made it.
Dr. Brad Miller has treated Katie and Becca. He says TS is physically evident by a girl's short stature, but learning challenges are also prevalent and can cause a lot of girls to live in the shadows in fear of judgment. But he says a lot of girls are surprised to find out how common it really is.
It actually is 1 in 2,500 women birth rate, and so it's more common than we think. So if you have a small town, you probably have a few women with Turner syndrome living there.
And these girls hope to spread the word.
It's important to spread awareness. Through the past couple of years, we've had a lot of girls diagnosed and are not really informed on what it is or how it affects them.
Before starting this Northland chapter, these girls traveled all the way to the Twin Cities or Milwaukee for support, but not anymore.
It's just awesome to be able to talk to other girls and maybe relieve some of the stress that you may be having.
Annie leads this local support group and says many girls are still afraid to speak out about TS.
With having the support group, I've learned that a lot of people are still more so embarrassed, or not really embarrassed, or just worried about the labeling.
But these two girls are determined to overcome those challenges and spread that word of hope to others.
Currently, I am going to college to become a surgical technician.
I want to be an interpreter when I grow up.
By coming together, they're learning to live with it and embrace it, and know they're not doing it alone. Brittany Folkers, Eyewitness News.
And you don't have to be alone either if you have TS. There are many resources out there to help. We've set up a link at WDIO.com for more information and how to get involved in the Northland Support Group. That's Eyewitness News at 10 for tonight. Thanks very much for being with us. Jimmy Kimmel is next. We'll see you tomorrow.